We're going to go through how to use Verbatim, how to use openCaselist, and kind of how to cut cards in general. So in Verbatim, when you download Verbatim, you're going to open up Word like usual, but you'll notice up here on the left, you'll have Verbatimise, right? So when you click Verbatimise, there'll be another tab that shows up here in the top left called Debate, right? And in here, you'll have all the functions that you need. Briefly, one thing I like to do when I first set up Verbatim is I go to Settings, go to Styles, and in the emphasis column, make sure box is checked. If you uncheck it, underline and emphasis is the same thing. So make sure it's checked. Okay. So I have some words here. So let's say like I want to read these words and then these words. Just in case you didn't know, if you hold down Control, you can select multiple pieces of text at once. So if I want to underline them, it automatically makes them bold and underlined because that's how I have it set up in settings. I think that's by default. And then highlight. Oh, ew. The highlight function will highlight it to whatever color is being selected. So right now I have purple selected, but if I select green, now next time I use highlight, it'll be green. And the added benefit of highlight is that for some reason in Word, when you use the highlight function here, it automatically deselects it. Like see how it's not selected anymore. But with the Verbatim version, it stays selected. So you can go ahead and do more things like underline or change the font size without having to reselect the text again, which gets very annoying if you don't have Verbatim. Okay, so this is my neg, it's util. So I will show you guys how to use Verbatim in research by using an example of updating my elections dissat. So if you guys remember, the elections dissat is saying Biden's gonna win now, right? We have a link that says rehab would make Biden's position weaker, some like examples of that happening in the past, and then what would happen if Biden's position is weakened and Trump wins, and that's a really bad situation because all this stuff, nuclear war. So that's the general argument, right? The link doesn't have to be updated that often because the link is just like, do people like rehab or do people not like rehab? But one thing on elections dissats that has to be constantly updated is the uniqueness card, right? This is from February 2nd. It's already outdated. We want one like from the day before the tournament or something. So in this case, I will find a new card. Obviously, some of these polls are going to say that Trump is winning because I think he is winning the polls. But maybe I should do like Biden winning and make sure that my thing is set to like the past week. This is a auto citer. It is this one. If you go to Site Creator or Modern Site Creator, you just type that into your extensions, like the extension store, I forget what it's called. You can download this and it's pretty useful. And what do we see here? Joe Biden suddenly leads Donald Trump in multiple polls. That is beautiful. Exactly what we need, because we want it to be like, oh, their evidence says XYZ, but ours is newer and says, oh my gosh, it's a sudden lead. So that's more important. March 12th, 2024. That's like 4 days ago. Perfect. Narrowly beat Trump. Even better, we want a narrow beat so they can't do like, oh, he's going to win anyway. We always want uniqueness to be like Biden winning, but narrow. Perfect. Let's not cut this part. It says I wouldn't invest too much in any given poll. So let's make sure we don't cut that part. And that's the whole article. There we go. Now I've got it. So Control C, just Control V, right? And then make sure I'm switching it so that it's just the text, keep text only. And look at that. Okay. So once I have a card like this, usually the first thing I want to do is cut it before I make it like condensed into one block because it's more readable this way. So my first line of cutting would be like this. I'm going to go through, I'm going to highlight anything I think could be useful, and I'm going to underline it. Now that I got it all underlined, I'm going to condense it. So I'm going to go up here, click condense. Look at that. It gets rid of all the spaces between lines in one click. I just love this program. I mean, you might think I'm glazing it too much, but like when I had to do it manually before I figured out Verbatim, it was so painful. Anyways, and then now that it's like this, I'm going to go ahead and click shrink. Shrink will shrink anything that's not underlined to a smaller size. Now I'm ready to highlight it. Biden beating Trump in multiple polls narrowly. But this could change. Biden leading 47 to 44%. Okay, and then I'll probably just keep a small but meaningful lead. And then highlight. I'll probably change it again like the night before the tournament because, like I said, it has to be really, really recent. But just for example, this is what you want to see. And then here, I use this thing. I can just Control-Alt-C, and it copies it, paste it here, and I highlight the plumber 24 part, click Cite, Biden on track to win. Biden on track to win, but it's a narrow lead. Sudden changes could flip that. There we go. And now I press tag up here, click tag, and it is in our tagline text. So now I can I'll just read the card. On the elections disad, Biden on track to win, but it's a narrow lead. Sudden changes could flip that. Palmer 24. Biden beating Trump in multiple polls narrowly, but this could change. Biden leading 47 to 44%, a small but meaningful lead. And soft on crime policies in the form of rehabilitation have been increasingly met with large scale. And that's how I read it. Okay, card done. So that's the process of researching, cutting a card. Next part. This is super duper important. This is how to use openCaselist. That is where all debaters in the national circuit, or like the bigger tournaments, will disclose their cases. They'll upload their files for both their AF and neg verse speeches to a website. And the purpose of this is, one, so that everyone can see each other's cases, and that leads to more prep and like better in-depth debates. And two, so that small schools have access to resources when they don't have the time or money to like afford prep groups and stuff. So it's a great practice overall, and I'll show you how to use it. So let's go to Google, and I have it pulled up here, but I'll just close it and open it again. So you just go here, type in openCaselist. Should be the first link. When you click on it, we'll come to this page. Actually, you'll probably come to this page. And then you got to log in with your tabroom.com username and password. I'm sure you guys all have that. So you log in, and here you go. Make sure you go up here, click LD. You don't have to remember where it is. It says high school LD. And there you go. So the way this is set up is on the left side, we have all the different schools that use openCaselist. And then when you click on them, you can see the individual debaters, and then you can see their cases. So let's just first look at LAMP. I'm just using Control F to get around fast because there's no way I'm going to scroll through all this every time. So we're LAMP AL. So you can see Anish, Yash, and I have our things. I'm going to click on my name. And so these are the tournaments I've been to in the national circuit this year, and see how I've disclosed. So like, just for example, if you take a look at Green Hill, that was one of the first ones I went to. I was AF, round 1. Here's a quick round report, so you can briefly see what happened in the round. And you click here, and you can download the case I read. Look at that. That's the case I read. Of course, you don't want to be downloading my cases because I haven't debated on this tournament or on this topic yet on a tournament big enough to want to upload here. But there is a tournament that has happened, and that is TFA. So I'm going to go to Tabroom. I'm going to go to TFA. TFA State 2024. This is the Texas State Tournament, which is a really big tournament. Really, everybody discloses. It's a great tournament. I'm gonna go to results. I'm gonna go to LD, and this is something you should be doing. Like, just take note of what I'm doing. You can always watch back the video to follow what I did. Go to LD and bracket. Now I have a list of every single person that broke at this really big tournament, which means pretty much every single one of these people is decently good at debate and worth looking at. Nobody has time for that, but let's just at least take a look at like the winner, Nathan Way. He goes to Strake Jesuit. So let's go back to openCaselist, Control F, Strake Jesuit. It's actually Strake Jesuit College Preparatory, but I mean, there's only 2, so you can click until you find the right one. Strake Jesuit College Preparatory. Let's find Nathan Way. There he is. Click on it. And there's every single tournament. As you can see, he's been to considerably more tournaments than I have, but oh my gosh, there it is. TFA State. TFA State, let's say you want to learn what his AF was. Well, his AF is called stock, which basically means it's just like the generic AF arguments. Let's click on that and download it. Give it a second to load. Beautiful. Straight Jesuit, Nathan Way's case. There you go, plan. This is just the resolution. Sometimes people will specify a plan that's like more like specific than the resolution, but he's defending the full resolution, which is good. And there's advantage, mass incarceration. And look at all these cards. Incarceration halts the economy, costs billions. That leads, and inequality hurts the economy, causes existential risks, causes great power war that causes extinction. A lot of people on the national circuit put framing at the bottom, but I would recommend putting it at the top for our local tournaments, but it really doesn't matter that much. Framing would be minimizing the risk of human extinction, right? And then this is just util, and then he has some warrants here. So if you ever need inspiration, if you ever want to know how to make your case better, just look at these cases. These are like the ideal case. And like, it's not bad at all. It's not frowned upon. As most people, when they cut cards, they put like initials at the end of the card to show that they cut it. I don't know if this guy did, but as long as you keep those initials there, there's nothing wrong with taking the cards. And if there's no initials to begin with, that's fine too. Don't worry about it. Let's pick a different school this time. I think David Zhu is a good debater, so let's go to Memorial. Oh, here we go. Now here they read a politics DA, so that is a decently generic dissad. So let's download that. This is basically the elections dissad. Biden's ahead now, uniqueness, and look at a warrant. Warrants are always better. The link, voters favor tougher crime policies. Rehabilitation is devastating. And then the impact. Trump will get rid of Ukraine aid, and that would cause US-Russia war. And that, well, warming caused extinction. That was the other thing. And the US-Russia war probably caused extinction as well. I don't know if it's specified here, but that would be what he'd want to say. You can also go up here to the search bar and search specific arguments. Like if I want to search up restorative justice, I'll probably find someone running a restorative justice case. So yeah, use openCaselist. Be careful not to edit people's stuff. Like the way it works is like everyone has access to everyone's stuff, so don't go around like deleting people's names and stuff. You can actually feel free to go to the LAMP page and add your own name there if you'd like. But you know, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, that is the guide to how to use Verbatim, how to research briefly, and how to use openCaselist.